Hmm. Do you remember any point from the last session? Any one of you? Do you have any remembrance? Yes. Adrian Prabhu, you have any remembrance? Cornel Prabhu, any one of you have any remembrance? Brandon? Yes.
We have to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Where did Cornel go? Okay. So, yeah. So we are reading this chapter actually. This chapter talking about, it's a very beautiful chapter actually. We are going to get very uh, amazing stories here, which is going to give us a lot of practical lessons. So, oh, Cornel, let's come back. Good.
Are we reading this?
Yeah. So, Cornel, I was wanting to ask, do you remember anything from previous session?
I remember it was like talking about like getting led to water and like standing in the Ganges and being like satisfied by that and like worshiping the Godhead and I don't know, I'm also reading a book about spiritual yoga, so I think I might be getting some of it mixed up.
Okay. Anyways, so okay. So
Bhakti
let us
yoga.
read this. Let us read this. No. Can you repeat after me? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Yeah. So this is the verse. Oh Brahmana, we see that. Okay, let's read the translation in this verse. It says, Tvam hina prachatam brahman atmani ananda karanam bruhi sparsha vihinasya bhavata kevalatmanaha. Oh Brahmana, we see that you are devoid of any contact with material enjoyment and you're traveling alone without any companions or family members. Therefore, because we are sincerely inquiring from you, please tell us the cause of the great ecstasy that you're feeling within yourself. Hmm. The word Kevalatmanaha is significant here, unless one has practical realization of the Supreme Soul and the individual soul who reside together within the heart of every living being. It is difficult to artificially adopt the sannyas order of life and travel without the association of wives, children, and other family members. The nature of every living being is to make friends with others and to have his love to a suitable person. One who has realized the Supreme Person is satisfied to always carry the personality of Godhead within his heart as his constant companion. Unless one has realized that Krishna is the only true friend and that Krishna is within one's heart, one will remain unattached, one will remain attached to the temporary relations of this material world. So it's a beautiful point being mentioned that we can become detached from any of the temporary, non-permanent existences of this world. The degree we have become attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the degree we have come to the spiritual existence, spiritual realizations, and we have developed our love for Krishna. To that degree, we can become detached from this temporary, relationships, attachment to wife, children, family members, all that. So sannyas means renounced order means one becomes fully attached to Krishna and he's completely fixed in his spiritual life. So he doesn't have any attachments in this world. That's called sannyas, right? But when we are attached to this world, then we cannot artificially give up, any of these temporary things in this world. So to give away to this world is actually mean what it means is to give away the attachment. It's not about just externally giving up things. It's about giving up the attachment. Somebody may be a family man having wife, children, relatives, but he may not have attachment to them. Why? because he's attached to Krishna, he's attached to service of Krishna. So such a devotee is actually internally renunciant, even though he may be externally maybe dealing with different relationships, and he may be having his family, he may be having his relatives, friends, he may be dealing, he will be talking to them, working with them, but he is not attached in terms of trying to get something out of them. He just simply attached to Krishna and tries to see how in every situation, in every dealing, we only try to serve Krishna and please Krishna. Anyway, we'll go further ahead because a lot of beautiful lessons are coming ahead. We want to go quickly to that portion. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yaduneva Mahabhago Brahmyen Sumedasa Prishta Sabhajita Praha Prashayavanitam Dvijaha. Lord Krishna continued, the intelligent king Yadu, always respectful to the Brahmanas, waited with bowed head as the Brahmana, pleased with the king's attitude, began to reply. Yeah. So now, can one of you read this, please?
My dear king, with my intelligence, I've taken shelter of many spiritual masters, having gained transcendental understanding from them. I now wonder about the earth in a liberated condition. Please listen as I describe them to you.
Go ahead.
The word Buddhiya Uparastya in this verse indicates the Brahmana's spiritual masters did not directly speak to him. Instead, he learned from them by his intelligence. All living entities who are inimical to Lord Krishna glorify useless material things and spend their lives trying to lord it over the material objects they falsely worship. Thus, the conditioned souls try to increase their duration of life, as well as their fame and beauty, by means of mundane religiosity, economic development, and gross sense gratification. King Yadu noticed that the saintly Avaduta did not behave like that. Therefore, the king was inquisitive to find out the actual situation of the Brahmana. In reply to the king, the saintly Brahmana states, I do not consider the 24 elements of the physical world as objects of my sense gratifications, and therefore I don't consider accepting or rejecting them. Rather, I accept the material elements as my instructing spiritual masters. Thus, even though wandering through the material world, I am never bereft of services to the Guru. Taking shelter of steady intelligence, I travel about the earth constantly engaged on the transcendental platform. By intelligence, I transcend the useless desires, and my ultimate goal is the loving devotional services of the Lord. Now I shall explain to you about my 24 spiritual masters.
Amazing, no? It's going to be very exciting now.
That's so cool.
24 spiritual masters. Who are they? Let's just dive deep into that. It's amazing. So it's telling that the Brahmana spiritual master did not directly speak to them, but he learned from them. So if you are having that frame of mind, if you have that eagerness, you can learn many lessons just by looking things around you. You can, because nature is teaching you so many lessons. But we have to be open-minded. A dull person cannot understand anything, but who's intelligent, he can learn a lot of lessons. Just by observing the nature, you can learn a lot of lessons. So this is the beauty of somebody who is having this orientation of mind, eagerness to learn, and he can learn a lot of things.
Krishna is in everything.
Yeah, Krishna is in everything, and he's teaching us. He's teaching us in so many ways. So he's telling all living entities. He's learned by, all living entities are inimical to Krishna, glorify useless material things. The more we don't glorify Krishna, God, then we will glorify other things of this world. Somebody may glorify, his own, girlfriend, or his own, he may brag about his own achievements. He may just, try to glorify, other mundane actresses, but not Krishna, not God. So more you glorify God, then you can be saved from the useless glorification of temporary people of this world, because these people are anyway having whatever they have from God only. Nobody has anything on their own, of their own. Everything is actually God given. So even if somebody is beautiful, even if somebody is rich, ultimately it is all the opulence of the Lord. It is all opulence of the Lord. Jacob Prabhu, you can have your video also on. Welcome, if possible. So ultimately, it is all by the mercy of God. So intelligent person, even if he sees people having richness, beauty, strength, wisdom, knowledge, right? Any of the opulence, he will understand it is actually all belongs to God originally. So ultimately, who should be glorified? The Supreme Lord, right? Ultimately, it belongs to him. Other person might be exhibiting that opulence. So ultimately, the owner of that opulence is the Supreme Lord. But when we get stuck, in the immediate people, those who may be possessing that, and we forget how they have got it, then then we are just not realizing how the Supreme Lord is the giver of everything. The temporary person we may just want to glorify so that we want some temporary benefit from him. We may want some kind of money from him. We want some kind of fame through that person. So we get stuck on some, this kind of motives. But when we connect to the Supreme Lord, then we connect out of love. And he is the possessor of all the opulences. He is the possessor of all the opulences: beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation, fame, strength, everything. So the conditioned souls try to increase their duration of life as well as their fame and beauty by means of mundane, religiously economic developments and gratification. King Yadu noticed that Avduta did not behave like that before. Therefore, the king was inquisitive to find out the actual position of the Brahmana because he was not interested in material things. Who? Avduta, that Brahmana who is roaming around, he was not interested in anything material, right? He was interested only in getting the ultimate realization. So when we are stuck in trying to be interested in something material, then we cannot access Krishna. We cannot access the absolute truth properly, right? So Brandon, you are aware? I mean, you are able to hear? Or you're busy with something? Brandon? Are you able to hear, Brandon Prabhu?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was trying to move my stuff because I'm trying to set up to where I can be outside because every room that I tried to go in was all taken up by people inside.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm staying at the Krishna house and they're having they're having like an event right now. There's like a bunch of people here.
Okay. Fine. No issues. You can do setup, no issues. So he says that, yeah. So in reply, the king saintly person says, I do not consider 24 elements of physical world as the object of my samskaric because he's not thinking all the things around him to be the objects of his own pleasure. He's not thinking like that, you see. He sees all of that is belonging to God. So I don't want to enjoy that, right? It all should be used for his service. So rather he accepts the material elements as my instructing spiritual masters, right? So even though he's wandering around the world, he is not bereft of the service to Guru because he can learn the lessons and he can be engaged in the service of the Lord. So taking the shelter of the study intelligence, I travel all around the earth on the transcendental platform, and by intelligence he can give up the useless desires and having the clear goal of devotional service to the Lord. Now he's going to explain about his 24 gurus. Now it's going to be very, very amazing, So I request Brandon Prabhu to read. O King. Brandon, you want to read? O King.
The translation?
Yeah.
O King, I have taken shelter of 24 brightness. 24 gurus who are the following: the earth, air, sky, water, fire, moon, sun, pigeon, and python. The sea, moth, honeybee, elephant, and honeybee. The deer, the fish, the prostitute, Tingala, the Kurana bird, and the child, the young girl, arrow maker, serpent, spider, and wasp. My dear king, by studying their activities, I have learned the science of self.
Amazing. So if you study all this, now all of us have seen earth, air, sky, water, fire, the deer and fish and elephant and honeybee, but we did not become self-realized. But this person, he has become self-realized just by studying, just by observing these, different creatures, you see. So, so it's so wonderful, this principle that if you are tuning to attain the self-realization, when you're looking for, getting the lessons of your life from everything in this world coming. If you're interested in learning the lessons of life, then Krishna will teach you the lessons of life through so many things of this world, right? But if you're not wanting to learn, then even though Krishna personally comes and teaches you, you cannot understand. Like Krishna was trying to teach Duryodhan. Duryodhan was a big demon. He was trying to help him understand, don't go for fight. Give the Pandavas their rightful claim, right? So Kauravas and Pandavas, there were two parties. So Pandavas were on the side of religiousness, virtuous. Kauravas were on the wrong side, right? But Krishna was trying to help both of them understand and not fight. So Krishna was teaching, yes, Hare Krishna. So Krishna was teaching the Duryodhan, please don't fight, give the rightful claim of Pandavas to them. They have the right. But Duryodhana could not take the lessons. So
What
yes.
is meant by the honey thief? Is that like a bear?
No. Honey thief is the person who comes to take away the honey from the
bee.
honeycomb and drives away the bees, and that's we all get honey in our different products. We get honey products. It's all
right.
Because there's a farmer who cultivates the honey and honeybee, and then he at some point of time he puts fire and he drives away all the honey bee, and he collects the wax. I mean the wax honeycomb with having honey, and then gets the honey. He extracts it. That's what. So that's yeah. So the wasp is known as Shupekshakrita because it causes the insect that it kills to take a beautiful form in the next life. Okay. So now go ahead further. Jacob can read.
Yeah, one sec. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jacob. Go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. I have to zoom in the screen. One sec.
Should I zoom in?
No, I can read it. I can see it. Please listen, O son of Maharaj Yayati, O tiger among men, as I explain to you what I have learned from each of these gurus.
Yeah, go ahead further. Go ahead further.
A sober person, even when harassed by other living beings, should understand that his aggressors are acting helplessly under the control of God. And thus, he should never be distracted from progress on his own path. This rule I have learned from the earth.
So now my question to all of you is, what is the lesson from Mother Earth? Who will tell? From the translation, what did you learn? What is the lesson we can learn from Mother Earth?
That she makes people harass us.
No.
It's all a part of God's plan.
You have to explain me by telling the analogy Earth, what Earth undergoes and how it is the lesson for us.
Oh, I understand. Can I say it?
Okay, but put your video on as well, if possible.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you see it?
Yes. Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, so the earth is like a being who's like very tolerant and puts up with things and never like fights back. So like so many people like torture the earth, but the earth is very tolerant. So similarly, when we're harassed by other beings or other forces of nature, then we learn how to be tolerant like the earth, because the earth tolerates so much more than anyone can tolerate.
Yeah. Amazing, Jacob. Thank you. So Jacob was the right way. So basically, the earth, you see the varieties of troubles with earth undergoes, like first of all of us are constantly, stepping on earth, right? Then people are digging, there's a oil drilling, there is atomic bombs put on earth sometimes, right? So many blasts are happening. And so there's so many ways earth is being kind of harassed and attacked, but the earth never protests. You see, earth tolerates. So a sober person can actually at least see, sometimes we may have to take some action against the aggressor. It is nothing wrong with that. We may have to sometimes, like Pandavas, they had to take action against the Kauravas, right? It is required sometimes. But the point is, but there is still a quality of tolerance, forbearance, to internally remain peaceful. How can you internally remain peaceful when you know whatever is happening in current situation, in present situation, is actually is some sort of sanction of the Lord. Because without sanctioning of God, things won't happen. So there must be some sanction of the God. That's why things are happening. So you can have some kind of action plan when some reversal comes, some aggressors are kind of harassing or something, but internally we can still remain peaceful. Sometimes you have to just tolerate, sometimes you have to take some action, sometimes you have to leave that particular situation and have some other kind of situation. You may have different options based on what is best there, but internally you can remain peaceful and progressive in your spiritual journey. So that quality of tolerance is a very internal state of consciousness. Being tolerant means having the acceptance. I accept this as a plan of the Lord, is as a sanction of the Lord. So you don't have that internal blame which sometimes we may carry towards God, towards Krishna, right? You don't become angry on Krishna. You don't become start blaming God. So that won't happen, because we do know there is some sanction, there is some kind of lessons for us. There is something for me to improve on. There is something which higher thing maybe about to come after this kind of difficulty. So we never know the plan of the Lord, right? But he has some kind of plan. There is some sanction of the Lord. Go ahead reading, Jacob.
The earth is a symbol of tolerance. By deep oil drilling, atomic explosions, pollution, and so on, the earth is constantly harassed by demonic living entities. Sometimes lush forests are cut down by greedy men with commercial interests, and thus a wasteland is created. Sometimes the earth's surface is soaked by the blood of soldiers fighting in a savage warfare. Yet despite all these disturbances, the earth continues to provide all the necessities of living beings. This way, one may learn the art of tolerance by studying the earth.
Yeah, so one can learn the art of tolerance by studying the earth. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Shashwat parartha sarveha parartha ekanta sambhavaha sadhu shiksheta bhubritto nagashishya paratmatam. If you any one of you have any questions or any discussion you want to have, you can always tell me. Do you want to discuss or have any question or any comment? Anyone? Based on till now whatever we have read. Any kind of discussion you want or any question you have? Anything? Okay, if nothing, we'll go ahead. Okay, we'll move on. Let me know if you have anything, anytime. Please feel free. You can anytime have some discussion. What do you? Yeah. Okay, so I'll request Connell to read further.
A saintly person should learn from the mountain, devote all his efforts to the services of others, and to make the welfare of others the sole reason for his existence. Similarly, as a disciple of the tree, he should learn to dedicate himself to others.
Now here two spiritual masters are mentioned. Please name them. What are the two spiritual masters here?
I don't know.
Mountain. That means there's a learning from the mountain, and then
The mountain and the tree.
And the tree. Yeah, mountain and the tree. Right. Correct. Jacob Prabhu, can you also keep your video on? That'd be great if you can. Jacob?
Wait, I can't put it on right now. I'll do it in like 10 minutes.
Okay, fine. But you're hearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, okay. Yeah, so mountain and the second is tree. So what he says, from mountain he learns to devote all his efforts to the service of others and to make the welfare of others the sole reason for his existence. Is very, 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 I mean, esoteric and exalted statement, right? My whole existence is for others, for others' welfare. What do you think, Colin? I mean, isn't it so interesting that if we can just make entire existence of ours for our others' benefit, you see?
Yeah.
This concept is a very, I mean, it's a very, very exalted,
Yeah,
idea.
like you can be compassionate, I guess, is like one way to
Yeah, yeah,
devote
yeah.
efforts to the
It can-
service of others and welfare.
yeah. Yes, yes. It's a compassion, the quality of compassion, that we just want to exist for others' happiness, for others' welfare, right?
Right.
Sole reason for existence. That is the only reason for existence, that I want to, see others' welfare. And for this is mountain. And what about tree? The tree is saying one should learn to dedicate himself to others. Similar kind of.
Connect with other
Yeah,
people.
learning to dedicate himself to others. Yeah. Okay, I request Connell to further go ahead.
Great mountains bear unlimited quantities of earth, which in turn gives sustenance to innumerable forms of life, such as trees, grass, birds, animals, and so on. Mountains also pour forth unlimited quantities of crystalline water in the form of waterfalls and rivers, and this water gives life to all. By studying the example of mountains, one should learn the act of providing for the happiness of all living entities. Similarly, one may take excellent lessons from the pious trees who offer innumerable benefits such as fruits, flowers, cooling shade, and medicinal extracts. Even when a tree is suddenly cut down and dragged away, the tree does not protest, but continues to give service to others in the form of firewood. Thus, one should become the disciple of such magnanimous trees and learn from them the qualities of saintly conduct. According to Srila Madhvacarya, the word Paratiakanta Sambhava indicates that one should dedicate all of one's wealth and other assets to the welfare of others. By one's acquired opulence, and one should especially try to please the spiritual master and the supreme personality of Godhead. Thus, the demigods, as well as truly respectable superior personalities, will automatically be pleased. By developing saintly conduct, as described in this verse, one will become tolerant, and this will free one from the useless agitation of the material senses, which drive one to wander through the world searching in vain for material happiness. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also emphasized the tree's quality of tolerance. Taror api shashun sa isnuna kirtaniya sadahari. One who is as tolerant as a tree can chant the holy name of Krishna, constantly finding ever new satisfaction.
Yeah. So what did you understand, Connell, this whole episode, whole discussion?
So it's like saying that the tree, like, it's not like a metaphor, like to be like a tree, but to literally embody the qualities of like a tree, that like a tree you can get like sap from it and make medicine, and it has fruit, apple trees, and flowers for insects and stuff. It's good for like the whole ecosystem, and it purifies the air, like, so that the carbon dioxide turns into oxygen, and it's also good for firewood. Like, it just has like innumerable literal, like very real benefits to help humans and other animals, help life, help bring like the living beings on earth.
Yeah, and even when tree is cut, still he is doing welfare of that person. Imagine somebody comes to harm you, but you still
Right.
do something for his benefit. I mean, it's really mind blowing. So when somebody is cutting the tree, what tree is doing? The tree is in turn returning, some firewood, some kind of fruits maybe. So tree is always trying to give. So of course, it's an analogy just to help us understand the extent of selfless service attitude extent of selflessness one can have, towards others.
Yeah, you can't be a tree, but
Yeah, you can't be a tree, but it's like we can learn the lesson from the tree. The tree may not be consciously doing it, but we can see this is what's happening. A tree is, inevitably benefiting the person who has come even to attack on tree, right? Like Brandon Prabhu, if you cut the tree, then what you get, you can get the firewood. You can make some kind of flute from that tree. You can even have, like, may say some kind of decoration with the leaves. You can take out the leaves and can have some decorations. You can have that trees, log of wood, and can sell it, can get money, and then you can use it for some purposes. You can make paper out of the tree, and then you can use it for some magazine or something like that. You can start a business. So many things. So the tree is ready to benefit even his aggressor. You see, what to speak of anybody else? Anybody else comes, trees give the shade, as you said. Trees also purifies the air. It also helps one to get the rainfall. So many things, right? So trees giving food, shelter. I mean the fruits that are food also. So like that. So that is tree. What about mountain? Somebody can tell about mountain. But let us hear from Brandon. What do you say, Brandon? How does mountain help us?
The mountain pours like a ton of water and stuff. It's like help, and yeah, so it just keeps giving, and so we can keep giving too.
What all things mountains give?
Water and Himalayan salt.
Huh?
Himalayan salt.
Himalayan soap, okay. Himalayan water, Himalayan soap. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
nutrients.
nutrients,
yeah, nutrient.
Yeah, it also gives us different kinds of minerals also, right? It has spring, there are spring water. People get spring water, nice, cool, nice, I mean, clean, clear water, springs. There are some kind of, the greenery, the trees. The mountain provides a lot of vegetables and greenery also. Greenery also, mountains also do that. That's so, a lot of things. What else is there written here? Yeah, waterfalls, rivers, water gives life to all. So by studying the example of mountains, one should learn the art of providing for the happiness of all living beings, right? So this is what we can learn from mountain and tree. Let us go further.
But how do you apply this? Like, how how do you show these characteristics in the human form? And in like a modern context, I can think of ways where, family members, coworkers, or friends,
Yeah,
they want to approach you with their gossip and nonsense,
correct,
and you can listen just to, appease them, but not necessarily participate
correct,
in the nonsense.
correct. Good point, Adrian. So actually, tolerance doesn't mean being foolish also. It shouldn't be like, okay, I'll just tolerate. They will come and do all nonsense to me and I'll just tolerate. Not like that. So
Yeah.
tolerance actually means, as I said, it's a very internal quality, not getting disturbed, internally. So it may also need, for you to keep yourself away from certain kind of bad association that may be required sometimes. But internally, you don't get too disturbed, and you don't become too animical. You don't become animical towards others. But you are wisely acting by keeping yourself away from bad association. That's absolutely right. Right? Yeah. But let's say somebody gets some bad association and he becomes so upset, so angry, and then he starts blaming God. Why does God has put these people for my torture? And he says he's not helping me, and he becomes outrightly a theist. So that is wrong. So one doesn't have to lose faith in God. Rather understand that, oh, these people are speaking something nonsense. Let me keep myself away. That way I express my devotion to God by keeping myself, pure and sanctified, by not allowing this kind of bad elements to enter in my system. You see, so that's how one can show his expression of loyalty and love to God, but not trying to have anything which is going to affect his devotion. So whatever is unfavorable thing, we have right to not accept that. Yes. So when it comes to tolerance, I can maybe make a diagram to help you understand.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'll just try to make one diagram. It will give some idea. It's building me this. 1 minute. So I'll just share the screen. Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do some graphic design.
So let's say I make this. So this is, let's say, our path. This is our spiritual life, right? We have to progress in this direction. Spiritual life we have like this. And there may be different obstacles, you see. There may be different obstacles, like we may have like, some obstacle here, some obstacle here, some obstacle, here, all that thing. And these are all obstacles are going to harass you. See, harass you different ways. It is trying to harass you. It is going to harass you different ways. And here you are the person who is trying to make journey. You're trying to make journey here in this direction. So now when this obstacle comes, then you have to actually, kind of tolerate, because they're not on your way, but they're trying to harass you from distance, you see. So you can just tolerate and go ahead, march ahead. Like this person is, this obstacle is kind of saying some kind of insulting words, but it's going ahead. This person is creating some kind of, too much feet for you or something. I mean, different kinds of obstacles. But let's say the obstacle comes on your way, like this. Here the obstacle comes. Then what you're going to do? Then you don't have to, just tolerate because it has come on your way. Then you have to get it kicked out. You have to maybe hit it strong. You have to kick it out. You getting what I'm saying? So sometimes tolerance may be taken as weakness, which is wrong. I mean, we don't have to become weak in the name of tolerance. When it comes to obstructing our spiritual progress, we shouldn't be tolerant. We should actually fight. You're getting? Let's say somebody comes and give some nonsense thing to eat. You can say, oh, I'll remain tolerant. He's putting in my mouth. I'll just tolerate, and I'll just eat. Somebody says, okay, come on, you just keep taking this marijuana and all this. Go on, good, very good. And you tolerate. Okay. Oh, he's putting in my mouth. Okay, I'll just tolerate. I'll just take it. No, it is not the right thing. When it comes on your way, then you have to fight back. Then you can say, sorry, I can't. No, I cannot. You understand at this point? Yeah. So, but certain things like, say somebody is, he spoke some kind of insulting words to you. Fine, you don't worry. Just tolerate it. Go ahead for that. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fight for everything. You understand? No? Sometimes you may have to just tolerate. But something which comes on your way, in your Krishna consciousness, in your spiritual progress, there you may have to also deal with that. You may have to sometimes take some action also. Does this clarify, Adrian?
Yeah. Sometimes when a wound it gets itchy, and you shouldn't be scratching it.
Yeah. You'll have to be tolerant. Sometimes wound will be there in you have to tolerate. You have to just tolerate. But let's say there is an infection now, and it is spreading whole your body. It's going to consume you. You may have to sometimes cut certain part of your body, and just get rid of it. You have to take certain action. See? You cannot tolerate. Okay, I'll just tolerate this, infection. Let it, and then you will die only. So sometimes you have to tolerate. Like pain because of that wound, something, and you tolerate because it is going to go away in some time. You don't have to worry too much, right? So that we have to tolerate, but not like so. So every virtue should have a purpose. The tolerance has a purpose. What is the purpose? Purpose is that I want to progress in my spiritual life. For that purpose, we tolerate. So every virtue has a purpose. You cannot have a virtue, any quality without having a purpose. You see, like compassion is a good virtue, right? But if you become compassionate on something which is not worthy of compassion, then it becomes a problem. Like for example, this example of King Bharat. The King Bharat, he left entire kingdom, right? And he came to forest for meditation. And he was meditating every day very nicely. And he was becoming very self-realized. He was going very, very, progressive in his spiritual realization. But then what happens? he happened to see one dove. Dove is a baby deer, the child of the deer, that female deer. And then what happened, the deer was actually jumping, running away out of fear of the lion. And when the deer was kind of jumping across a river, then there was a miscarriage. And then small baby deer fell and started drowning. That King Bharat, he saved that deer and he brought that deer to his hut where he was meditating. But what happened? He became overly affectionate, overly attached to this small deer, and he forgot his meditation. No, while he was meditating, he was thinking of the deer, and he was embracing, kissing, taking too much of care of the deer that he forgot his meditation. You see, and as a result, what happened? Once the deer was missing, and he was frantically searching for the deer, and he fell in a ditch. I mean, in a kind of ditch, and then he died, and he died thinking of the deer because he was thinking not of God, but he was thinking of the deer. And because he was thinking of the deer, next life he became deer. Because that is the law of last thought. Law of last thought. At the time of death, he was thinking of the deer. So next life he becomes a deer, you see. So that became a downfall of, because of course, in ultimate sense, he further progressed because he remembered his past life and his mistake. So he went ahead in his spiritual journey. But the point is, he unnecessarily got delayed in his spiritual elevation, spiritual salvation, you see. Some delay happened. Why? Because he became overly carried away by this virtue of compassion. So compassion is good. But if you become compassionate, something which is not worthy of compassion is a problem. Like I'll give you another example. Say you have your younger brother, and your younger brother is sick with fever, 104 fever. And your younger brother is demanding, oh my bro, you give me fried chickpeas. I want to eat fried chickpeas and pizza immediately. I want to eat. And you may say, no, but you have fever. Oh, brother, you don't love me. You don't have any affection for me. What is this? He says like this. And you feel compassionate. You feel, oh, my brother is actually too much missing pizza and fried chickpeas and fried all this stuff, And then you become compassionate. And then you give all those fried items and the pizza and other things. Then what happens to him? His fever gets further aggravated. And if your parents come to know what you have done, will your parents be happy with you, or they will give you a big chastisement? What do you feel, Adrian?
Chastisement.
Chastisement. Why?
Because he has a fever. You're not taking care of him, actually.
Yeah, but you are trying to be compassionate on your brother. You just wanted to just please him. You were loving, so that's why out of love you gave.
But it's not actually helping.
Yeah, that's the point, right? So every virtue must have a purpose, So there the compassion he was showing by trying to feed the brother some oily items, some fried items, which was actually not going to help him, So the purpose is not served. The purpose is to benefit the person, right? So we should also understand this point that every virtue must be having some purpose. So ultimate purpose is to help people to become God conscious, right? So for the purpose of helping others to become God conscious, for the purpose of ourselves becoming God conscious, Krishna conscious, we have to tolerate certain things, and something which comes on our way, we have to take action also. You understand, no? That way. As I mentioned with this, drawing, which you must have understood. Does this clarify, or anybody has any doubt? I think Cornell is deeply thinking. He's meditating on the lessons.
I like that you brought up compassion and how you gave that example about the two brothers and the wound and how that connects to being tolerant. It all makes sense, I feel like you kind of when they said sober, I thought that it was going to be something about material pleasures, but it's so much more than that. It's about being accepting. So thank you. Yeah, I was.
Oh, you are thinking sober means just trying to tolerate the material pleasure, but you felt something there, deeper meaning you understood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tolerant doesn't mean just being sober to the material pleasures, but also it means that we act in a way which is progressive in our God consciousness. That is the real meaning of being tolerant. Yes. Good. Jacob, you want to say something? Brandon, you want to say something? Brandon Prabhu? Can't
Oh,
hear
okay.
you.
It was already open.
Yeah,
It was good. Yeah. So we got to be tolerant like a tree.
yeah. But could you connect to what we discussed today? I mean, some discussion what we did, you could understand, you could hear it, Brandon?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about the mountain tree?
Mountain and tree, okay. That's fine. Okay, let us move ahead. Okay, so any other discussion? Adrian, you want to ask? You have, or it's fine? Go ahead. Should we move
No,
ahead?
that was good.
Okay, let us move ahead further then. So, yeah. So I request now Adrian to read maybe. Yes, Adrian.
A learned sage should take his satisfaction in the simple maintenance of his existence and should not seek satisfaction through gratifying the material senses. In other words, one should care for the material body in such a way that one's higher knowledge is not destroyed and so that one's speech and mind are not deviated from self-realization.
Amazing. See, satisfaction. Brother says should take his satisfaction in what it says? Simple maintenance of
Simple
the
maintenance.
yeah, simple maintenance, no? And should not seek satisfaction through gratifying material senses. See. So our existence becomes complicated to degree we seek satisfaction through gratifying material senses. Our existence becomes complicated. So if you want to keep yourself simple, it's very simple. What is that? Try to not seek satisfaction through gratifying the material senses. Now the point comes. Then what way we will be satisfied? You are telling, don't try to seek satisfaction through gratifying the material senses. How should I seek satisfaction? Then you can seek satisfaction by engaging in devotional service. When you engage in bhakti yoga, in devotional service, by chanting the names of God, by serving God, remembering God, then you can actually become satisfied. So that's why those people who are God conscious, naturally they become simple. Can you understand the connection? Those who become God conscious, naturally they become simple. Why? Because as you become God conscious, as you become God lovers, you don't seek satisfaction through gratifying the material senses. I mean, you don't try to gratify the material senses, you try to seek satisfaction by gratifying material senses. Then what happens? Then you can have satisfaction. Then you can have satisfaction in the simple maintenance of the existence. Yeah, because for gratifying your material senses, you need complicated existence. If you don't want to gratify the material senses, you will have simple existence, simple material existence. But how can you be satisfied? By devotional service. By becoming God conscious, you are satisfied. That's why you don't seek satisfaction through gratifying your material senses. So this is the point. In other words, one should care for the material body in such a way that one's higher knowledge is not destroyed, and so that one's speech and mind are not deviated from self-realization. So we may have to take care of our body, our needs, mind needs, and body's needs, but not in a way which obstructs our progress in devotional service, in a spiritual journey, spiritual life. Right? So we do need to take care of the body, but not in a way which is going to become obstacle, which becomes obstructive for our spiritual growth. So it has to be in a way which is conducive for our spiritual progress. Like we do eat, right? We do sleep, So what we eat, the food which is conducive for spiritual life. Like we may take some vegetarian stuff and we may offer to God, and we can take it as prasad, So I do remember Connell once has brought some nice, preparation for one meditation program. It was very good. So it was a simple, some kind of veggie stuff. I mean, some kind of thing which was not, other thing. And also I remember he appreciated the pizza, whatever we had. He even ate that, and he was very happy. So what I'm saying is that we may eat, but we eat those food stuff which should not be kind of hampering our spiritual progress. Like if you tend to eat some food stuff which is born out of cruelty of somebody on some being, like some being is being killed with so much of cruelty, so then all the negative emotions are there, and it's very, very
Very
you know yeah, it brings a lot of hard-heartedness in your own system when you eat such kind of food. Then you cannot practice God consciousness properly. You see, it is not conducive. So that's why we are not bothered about any other thing but our spiritual progress. So if it is obstructing my spiritual progress, so I don't want to eat certain things which may be obstructing my spiritual progress. That way we take it. So one should be care for the material body in such a way that one's higher knowledge is not destroyed. You see, like even for sleep, we do sleep, but we don't sleep like 24 hours. We don't sleep like 12 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours. We sleep like 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever is required for the body to remain fit and healthy and fresh, right? So we should not be doing like too much of sleep, by which we may become very lazy and covered. Then we cannot do meditation properly. Because if you become too lazy, how can you meditate? How can you, chant the names of God? How can you have your practice of bhakti yoga? It's difficult, right? So that's why one has to be careful to take care of the body in a way which is progressive in his spiritual journey. And one's speech and mind are not deviated from the self-realization. Yeah, that's a purpose. Okay, purport. So I'll request Brandon to read the purport.
A wise man does not absorb his consciousness in the forms, flavors, aromas, and sensations of material sense gratification, but rather accepts activities such as eating and sleeping simply to keep body and soul together. One must properly maintain one's body by regulated activities of eating, sleeping, cleansing, etc. Otherwise, the mind will become weak and one's spiritual knowledge
Wait a minute. Sorry. No.
will fade away. If one eats too austerely, or if in the name of selflessness one accepts impure food, surely one loses control of the mind. On the other hand, if one eats food that is excessively fatty or rich, there will be an unwanted increase in sleep and semen, and thus the mind and speech will be overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Krishna has summarized the whole matter in the Bhagavad Gita by his statement: one should moderately and intelligently regulate all of one's bodily activities so that they are favorable for self-realization. This technique is taught by the bona fide spiritual master. If one is too austere, or if one engages too much in sense gratification, self-realization is impossible. It is the duty of a devotee of the Lord to avoid seeing any object as separate from Krishna, because that is illusion. A gentleman will never try to enjoy the property of another gentleman. Similarly, if one sees everything in relation to Krishna, there is no scope for material sense gratification. But if one sees material objects as separate from Krishna, then one's material enjoying propensity is immediately aroused. A human being must be intelligent enough to distinguish between prayas or temporary gratification and shriyas, permanent benefit. One may accept sense activity in a regulated, limited fashion so that one will be strong for serving Krishna. But if one excessively indulges the material senses, one will lose one's gravity and seriousness in spiritual life and act like an ordinary materialist. The ultimate goal, as stated here, is jnanam, or a steady consciousness of the absolute truth, or Krishna.
Yeah, I think it may need some time to explain. So, but time is already up, so I don't want to delay further because we want to keep the meeting sharp also. So, any final comments or anything if you want to have anything? Otherwise, we'll just stop the meeting today, and we can continue from the next Sunday.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Just absorbing it.
Okay. Yes. Connor.
The way that it's written sounds almost like homophobic. I didn't know like that the Krishnas, like I don't know if I'm misinterpreting it though, like just kind of like talking about like the other gentleman's property and like I don't know if that's like what exactly that means, but it doesn't like it seems kind of like ambiguous, like but there's also like the I don't know, it doesn't really sound, it's unclear to me.
Okay. See, I can just little bit open that again. So what he's saying here is that one must properly maintain one's body by regulatory activities of this thing. Yeah. Okay. Not here. This one. Yeah. This one. Lord Krishna has summarized that. Yeah. One should intend regulate all one's bodily activities. Yeah. This one. Sorry. It is the duty of a devotee of the Lord to avoid seeing any object as separate from Krishna because that is illusion. I think that you're talking about. A gentleman will never try to enjoy the property of another gentleman. Similarly, if one sees everything in relation to Krishna, there is no scope for material sense gratification. But if one sees material objects separate from Krishna, then one's material enjoying propensity is immediately aroused. I think you're talking about this statement, right, Conan? Okay. Anyway, you are muted. But anyway, I understood what you're saying, yes.
That one.
Yeah. So I'll explain it. Very simple it is. Like I'll tell you, when you see everything is property of God, whatever it is, mountain, river, minerals, mud, everything, directly, indirectly, everything is property of God. Like for example, I'll tell you a simple example. Let's say, Adrian, I give you, some 4 or 5 meters of cloth, and I tell you, Adrian, can you just get one nice, shirt for me, stitched? Can you stitch a nice shirt for me? And Adrian somehow works hard and gets on Google and everything, and he stitches one nice shirt for me, and he gives me, Prabhuji, this nice shirt, I made it. So now, and I say, okay, give me back. He says, no. Now, because I made it, it is my shirt. Can you claim like this, Adrian?
No,
Whose shirt it belongs to?
it's yours.
How? Why can you say, how can you say it is mine?
Well, it's your cloth.
Yeah, because I gave you the cloth, right?
Yeah.
Same way, in this world, the ingredients for anything is given by God. Like somebody makes a skyscraper building, right? So how the skyscraper building was made? Wood, some kind of mud, cement, sand, right? Bricks, stones. But all these things are coming from God. The man, the engineer, is only manipulating, and he's telling, no, it's my building. So even though he has manipulated, he doesn't become the owner of that building. The owner of that building still remains God, because God provided the natural ingredients. So practically all the natural ingredients is provided by God only. So we cannot claim the proprietorship over anything of this world. Everything is the property of God. We are simply having for temporary period of time.
So you can't steal.
Sorry?
It's about stealing from other people. Like
you
never want to steal property or
I mean, we don't want to. Same way, when we claim the property of God as my property, then I'm stealing from God, you see. You're able to understand, Connor, in what context it is told?
Yeah, it's like the two different kinds of gurus. There's like good and bad gurus, and like you don't want to.
I mean, I don't know whether you got it. Like say, so when I claim this, I say this is my pen. I am the owner of this pen. Let's say I think it's whole and soul. This is mine. If I think, then I'm stealing the property of God, because it's not mine actually. It's property of God.
Right.
Even my mobile, so-called my mobile, is property of God. My kurta, this is also God's property. It's not my property. I can be grateful that God has given me some facilities which I can use it, and I should use it in a way which is for His pleasure. I should not use it in a way which I displease God, right? Like if I give you my mobile, Connell, if you come to temple, I give you my mobile. What you will do with my mobile? You will ask, hey Raghav, what do you want me to do with your mobile? You want me to call someone for the program? I say, yeah, cool, do it. And then if you do it, I'll be very happy with you, correct?
Definitely.
Yeah, so as soon as I give you my mobile, if it is in your custody, I have given my mobile in your custody, what you're going to do? You're going to do something which gives me pleasure, right? Like even something which you have to even take it, let's say I give you food, prashadam, and I say, Connell,
Right.
for you.
Like you did.
Yeah, and then what you do with that food, you eat it, right? And that makes me happy. But let's say you take that food and you throw on the road. What will make? I'll become so sad, right? That won't be
Right.
enough. Yeah. So you acknowledge that it is not my property, it is God's property. And what way God will be happy? If I use this in a way by which God is pleased. Correct. So same
Right.
way, yeah. So anything which we claim that it is mine, if we have that attitude, then we want to enjoy this, you see. Like if I give you mobile and you forget, this mobile is given by Raghava to me. Raghava Kripadas has given this mobile. If you forget this, let's say somehow you forget it, then you start using this mobile for your own purposes. Hey, let me do business with this mobile.
It's just like if you eat like fatty food or something, it's like hard, like you have food still, but it's just like it's not the best option, but it's like you're kind of like you have to deal with the consequences
Yeah.
and like
Yeah. Main concept what here is being told is that having this attitude of seeing everything as property of God, then you will use everything in God's service. Then you'll not be in illusion. But when you see things separate from God, means you forget that God is the owner of everything, then you have a tendency to enjoy that, separately. That is called sense gratification. So enjoying propensity. Then once material enjoying propensity is immediately aroused. This happens. So if you can acknowledge everything belongs to God, then you don't want to enjoy whimsically. Rather, you want to know how should I deal with this object by which God is pleased.
yeah, and those are the obstacles that you have to like overcome, is like when you are challenged with something.
Yeah, correct. Did you understand, Adrian, what the point I was trying to tell?
Yeah. We can't be thieves. We have to honor everything as belonging to God.
Yes, yes.
And I just want to say too that for Connell, the translator Prabhupada, his education comes from like a colonial British teaching. So his English writing style is relatively archaic. Um,
So
so
it's like
sometimes,
dated to the
yeah, in a sense.
His writings are what?
Uh, they come across a little different, like some of the things he says, like for instance, using the word gentleman, it could have a different meaning in a modern sense.
Okay.
And Prabhupada often uses terms like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but just it means different now.
Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. That's why sometimes you may need to have explanation to get the mood of what Prabhupada is wanting to tell. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Brandon, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, thank you for the class. Yeah, I was kind of seeing it as like I mean, it's the illusion if you think that that property is that person's property when it's actually Krishna. So that's when it, yeah. So and in which you guys explain it, but that's what I was seeing it as. The thing that you're going to use it for material enjoyment if you think it's your personal property or something. But if you know that everything is God is Krishna, then you would use it for the right reason.
Yes, like even your body belongs to Krishna. Then you'll use your
Hmm.
body for Krishna's service. For Krishna's service. You will use his body for others, for Krishna's purpose, for Krishna's service. No, then you can think of doing welfare of others because Krishna likes you to do welfare of others. Then you're not claiming it's my body. Let me use it by my own selfish purposes. Okay, thank you all very much. I'm so grateful to all of you, Connell, Brandon, Adrian, Jacob had just left. So I really express my deep gratitude, deep gratitude. Why? Because I feel so fortunate to have your wonderful association with that kind of eagerness coming. You're coming with so much of eagerness and you're really taking in. I could see all of you are so much trying to deeply absorb, the message which we are trying to read here. You are trying to make it, to your heart, trying to take it to your heart, and you're listening very attentively. You're also contributing, participating very nicely. It gives me so much of inspiration and joy to have seeing, all of you getting more and more this positive help from this reading, becoming more and more God conscious. and becoming more, positively progressive in the journey, in your spiritual journey. So thank you so much for, adding the synergy by being present.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We'll meet next Sunday, 12 p.m. Hopefully.
Howdy bowl.
If there is some
Hare
change in
Krishna.
the time, I'll coordinate in the group. And hopefully we will have this. Okay.
What
Adrian,
group?
you're coming for the Harinam also, Adrian, today?
No, not today. I gotta deal with something
Okay.
personal, so.
No issues.
But next week I'll be there.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Brandon is going to come to Boston. Then I request Connell to come to meet Brandon. Brandon is a
What's
wonderful
Hari
soul.
Bowl?
Yeah.
Hari Bowl.
What was that?
Connell is one of the very wonderful person I met. He was in Gita in Nutshell, Connell. And then he was taking Krishna consciousness very seriously. He came to my MIT program as well. He came to temple as well. He was very appreciative of the kirtans, what we had in temple and prasad. So Brandon Connell is going to come. Connell Brandon is going to come to Boston. He was there in Boston and he got some good experience in Gainesville. There was some kind of training going on there. He was part of it. Now he's coming back to Boston in September, early September. So maybe you can come and meet Brandon. That would be very good. He can be your very good friend.
That would be
That'd be
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Sure. Yeah, and I'll see Adrian there too. We can all do a Harinam or something together.
Yeah. We all can
Yeah.
do Harinam together.
Cool.
Brandon, you have met Adrian before?
What was that?
Yeah.
You have met? Okay.
Yeah, we've met.
You met. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I think Connell
Yeah.
will come sometimes on Sunday. Maybe.
Yeah, we met when I was in Boston last time.
Yeah. Maybe
Do you
Connell.
guys have like something in Boston that you guys do on Sundays as well?
Yeah, we have Harinam. We go for Boston Commons and we put up our instruments and we play, music, and when we have some nice singing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, every Sunday 2 to 5.
Yeah, we do that. It's amazing.
I actually have to work today. I work at a nursing home, so
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to do that. But
What time?
that sounds
What
cool.
time you have to go for work, Karan?
I have to go at 3 today.
Okay. That's okay. Maybe you come some other time and we can have like exclusive Harinam when you come. We can have some Harinam.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I really like the medical like metaphors, like the analogies. Those are really good. Like those examples about the like not being able, like you have to be like very serious about a wound, like you can't itch it, like you'll get an infection, and the fever, like you have to have like healthy food to get better. It's true. It's like Hare Krishna is almost like medicine, not like exactly, but it's like there's definitely a lot of like wisdom that's like almost medical, like advice like coming from the Hare Krishnas. It's so cool.
You are in medical field, so you are able to relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're working in nursing, so yeah, I understand. Yes.
What?
You're working in nursing, so you are
Yeah,
able
nurse.
to
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like very like new to, not new, but pretty new.
Yeah.
Since December.
Achha, new to what? You're new to?
New to nursing. I'm just a CNA.
Okay.
My CNA in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Since October, last October, you're working?
Yeah. Since December, I've been working.
Since December. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Brandon. Hare Krishna, Karan.
Hare Krishna.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Very well.
Hare Bol.